Where's my
Good, sure.
I'm not good. I saw God.
Oh.
Am I
Young,
oh,
need a seat somewhere?
Where's my friend?
Oh, there he
I
is.
tried to sit in Talon's lap and teleported me.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I think I accidentally sat in someone's lap, but I got teleported.
Hello, everyone. I am Swole, and will be taking care of streaming this event alongside other people. So yeah. The event is starting, so I will be turning on audio, trying to mute my microphone, things like that. And yeah, enjoy.
Talon, you look like you're watching like a very fancy theater, a very fancy theater show, like with your, like, your little like little thingies. You're like looking down
Nothing
at
special
actors.
you need to know.
So you
No.
look right now.
Fantastic. Okay, I think I'll be ready in like
Stop looking at
30
me.
more seconds.
You're scary, everyone. It's scary.
Wait, Woods, hang on.
Stop that.
Hi, I'm back. What are you guys doing?
Oh, hi.
doing?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
I need to give you a gravity changer. Hang on, I realized you just want to AFK. Pick that
Hang on, I
thing
accidentally threw my
Oh,
blood.
I have one.
up. I mean, this is a down gravity changer. Oh, you have one. Okay, go down.
Yeah, I have both.
Does anybody have to start
Get off
down
the
gravity
ceiling.
changer? Because I lost mine.
There we
Ouch.
go. Okay, problem solved. Awesome. Go have fun at the event.
I had a blahage stolen.
Wait, where is the event?
Someone's
climbing the barrier. Oh, okay.
Oh, Cappy blood.
I'm sitting on your lap.
Who knows? Taking a car in here, idiot!
This is so awful.
There's two of them now.
Ow! I'm getting run over! Get your car out of
When's
here!
the goon sesh?
Yeah, what are the goons is happening, to be honest?
Oh my.
Oh hey, Duvet, I'm scared. I recognize that.
Hey, Choco, how do you get so small?
I have no clue where Vixen is.
I'm up here. Vix is in the Shadow Realms forever.
Oh,
now.
there. I just can barely hear you. That would explain it.
Sir, I can't see. Could you move?
It's one of my wizard hats. Hold on. Let's go.
Thank you.
Oh, hell no.
You want one?
Not the guy.
You want a wizard hat, Talon?
Yes, please.
Shadow Money Wizard Gang? Real?
Oh gosh.
Wait, don't get rid of my
This is awesome. Hi, Jay.
How the fuck? What's plushables called in the past?
Hold on.
What? I can give it to you for some reason. I'll just hand you it.
Jay, why are you in my lap?
Hold on. I'm trying to give it to you. It's very hard because the bouncy seats.
Yeah. That might go to Young.
I'm stuck at home.
Oh, it's bouncy everywhere.
All right. I have no clue if I'm supposed to be pressing the push to talk button this whole time. So
Press the button that kills
You should
someone.
be, yeah.
Press the button that kills
Sir?
young Nick Young.
All right. So.
Sir, you
Hi,
are you are
people.
stupid.
Hi there,
Hi.
people. We, the two of us are two of the members of the Duvet MC team. We were, we have essentially a goal of trying to get at least some sort of standard library for every single version of Minecraft in existence.
Starting with
You're having a talk. You're having a talk by the Duvet team, and you don't get like the fucking reason Duvet exists.
Kill that
Idiot.
person.
As all the things are getting thrown. All right. So, this talk here. Welcome to the first talk of the show. This is fantastic. This is going to be about how unsafe, reflection, and ASM are all used in the Minecraft modding seed. What they are, why they're used, and other things. Oh boy, I need to set the... I do not know if the mic is set up properly. I do believe it's set for channel 15. I just don't know if yeah, I don't know.
Press H in chat if you can hear us.
Vix, you are very quiet.
H.
H, but Vix, you're very quiet.
Hey Nick, you need a mute in Discord.
Is this better?
Oh, pardon. Hey.
Set your amplification all the way or something.
Okay.
Kill young Nick Young.
Vix.
What did Young do? What the fuck?
Vix,
What did he do?
I can
Vix,
talk
Vix,
you
Vix,
better.
Wait,
I will
I
get
can
him out
hear
at
you.
some point.
Young
You
is
trust
real
me.
now? Okay.
Wait,
Young is real,
Am I
and I
like-
will kill him.
am I stuck to
Just
you?
to get the truth out. The truth about Young's better sex.
Wait, I think I'm stuck to you.
Are you?
My username is
Like, try moving around,
This.
like, rotating.
I can't get up.
Oh,
Oh, I'm fine now.
All right, so all these things. What are they? Why are they used? Who knows? Well, we know. So, ASM. I think that's what I have first. Yeah, ASM. Yeah. So ASM is a bytecode manipulation library. It
Did he die?
Okay, so I forgot I have to press the talk button. I'm gonna change that real quick. Test, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. So now I don't need to press the push to talk. That's so much handier. ASM, bytecode manipulation library. It's used a lot for runtime modification, primarily right before the class loads. As all the sounds. All right. It's used. Is the screen updated? I can't tell. It's used for. Oh boy. All right. Well, we can hope that maybe. Oh boy. Does this hate me? Probably. Or I just didn't press the button right. All right. Anyway, here we go. It's used a lot in Forge core mods, as well as in the Mixin library if you have done literally anything with modding the game or debugging some mods. So you may understand some of the pain there. Then we have our next fun little thing, Unsafe. Now, a good note about Unsafe is that it is actually in JVM, and it's used for direct memory access and modification. Now, that is also a very dangerous thing overall. It's used primarily in large part for the for like large frameworks, like I think Spring probably uses it and other things like that. And even the JVM itself uses it in some places, specifically for the goal of getting very fast operations overall. And it's not really a recommended option because it's meant as a JDK internal primarily. But we do have Reflection. that is a much better overall option. Reflection is primarily used for oh great, I need to actually see things better. Reflection is considered the good choice. It's not the best choice, but it's generally what is recommended if you need to do anything based on the runtime state. It's less it gives you less ability to do things overall as Unsafe or ASM, but it sometimes ends up being the only reasonable option. It is used a lot in Forge, especially, but also other mod developers for the purpose of getting access to Minecraft's code in situations where it's either not public or otherwise hard to reach. Yeah, you can throw question books at any time. They'll just get in the queue and then I'll see them and have to accept or deny them. Let's get to some examples real quick, because examples are always a helpful thing. We have Lawn Trapper is the first one. It does lots of things. It's primarily used for old Minecraft versions, and it does allow you to modify classes by requesting a byte array and returning the one that you actually want to load. But that also means it's not very easy for mod developers to actually use, and it's very exclusive to only Minecraft. We also have Mixin, which is good for most of transformations that you may want to have. And it's generally the good option in modding in the modern era. But there is also less freedom in the kinds of transformations you can make. While we're here, because it's a reasonable thing, there's this question here: what's the difference between ASM and Mixins? ASM is primarily what's used for the under the hood implementation of changing classes and things, where Mixins are used as a higher level kind of thing, for the most part written in Java, or if you're doing certain things that can be written in things like Kotlin. But but Mixins are generally aimed at simpler transformations or more easy to understand things, like adding extra checks or doing things like that within the Minecraft thing. So beyond that, then what if we did worse? Assuming this actually works. What if we did worse? Because there are many things that you can do. For example, here's a bit of code. If you have no clue what any of this does, good. This is something that I would not recommend anyone doing, but it is something that I have done. Let's take this piece by piece, because this is a lot. We have here first a simple field definition. If you've had any background in Java, you know what this is. If you haven't, basically we're just setting up a thing so that we're able to access things in the future. Next we have a try catch block, because exceptions happen a lot, especially if you're doing the cursed things that I do. Oh wait, sorry, that's a static because I'm dumb, but you know, this is the try catch block, but it's inside the static initializer, so that way we can set the field at the proper time like we're supposed to. Then we have the first bit of code. We have the requesting of the unsafe. As I had said earlier, unsafe is for direct memory access. We will be doing some direct memory access later in this block of code. The one little thing is that this is written specifically for any version of Minecraft or any version of Java with unsafe in it, including more recent versions where the compiler will not let you specify unsafe specifically. So if you've written this kind of, if you've accessed unsafe in Java 8, you may see this as slightly unfamiliar, because unsafe in older versions worked better as just a simple class access, and then you're able to just set the type correctly. But you have to access unsafe with the class.forName and setting it to just a generic object in modern versions, because the compiler will not let you access the class in later versions. So if we continue, here's the next painful thing. We now have 3 methods here. They are all from the unsafe. We need to do these instead. Oh boy. Oh no, it seems like people are crashing or otherwise unable to join.
That's not good.
All right, recordings are being made, so hopefully it's not terrible. I'll wait a couple moments to see if people are able to make it back in or if things are just breaking. So we have, I can continue iterating here. Are the questions able to scroll? I don't think so. I believe I did see a question in chat. Yeah, why is it forced as reflection? So in the unsafe class, there is a fun little issue where you cannot just use unsafe.getUnsafe, because that method checks who's calling, and if it is not from the JVM itself, it will throw an error saying that you're accessing it outside of where you should. So I'm getting potatoes thrown at me. So hopefully people have either gotten back in or seen or gotten to the stream. So I shall continue on here. Next we have the actual things that we're looking for, method handles. This is a Java 8 and newer feature that allows a different kind of runtime-based access. But with this, we have to do more reflective calls. And these lines here are first getting an instance to the impl lookup, the inside mechanic on a free or a completely trusted version of method handle check, which would allow you to access anything. We then go on to getting the base and offset, so that way we are able to access it through unsafe. Usually the base in this case would be the class itself, but some JVMs probably implement it a little differently at times, so it's safest just to have that extra object class. And then the meaty line right here, trusted lookup, equals this mess of a function call where we are getting from the unsafe, we are using it to get an object, or at least the address which Java interprets as an object, to the trusted lookup object. At this point, assuming nothing has gone wrong, we now have full access to every single part of the JVM entirely universally, and that is very interesting. Not really something that anyone should ever have to worry about, but here we are. And then we get to the catch clause. It's good to look at this for a short moment. This is an unchecked throwing statement, where Java has 2 general kinds of statements. They're the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. The checked exceptions require you declare what the exception is in order to throw that exception. Whereas an unchecked exception, you can just throw at any time, such as a runtime exception or null pointer exception. But this means that if you want to throw a checked exception, you either have to declare that you're going to throw it, or you have to wrap it in an unchecked exception. This little thing abuses the fact that that's only checked at compile time by creating a given creating some sort of exception that's just in this case being called T, declaring that it's throwing that, but then not going into the details as to what actually is getting thrown. So that way at runtime, what happens is it just ignores the it ignores the cast altogether because it knows it already fits, and goes on and throws the original exception. So that is mostly just to clean up a stack trace were one to occur, but in theory, if this is all set up correctly, it shouldn't throw an exception unless the is not built the way that is expected. So this is a bad idea. Let's go ahead and talk about more bad ideas. There are always lots of people who have bad ideas at times. And in the Minecraft modding scene, I have just a list of these here. How can someone circumvent Forge's security checks? If you come from a Forge modding background, you might know that it has a security manager, at least in the older versions, which would not allow you to call system.exit. It would warn, or it would scream at you and be unhappy about it. What if someone wants to modify the behavior of the mod loader itself? This is something that quite a few people have done. It's probably most well known in Gross Fabric Hacks, which uses it in order to allow more capable changes in classes. What if you want to work around Mixin, because Mixin maybe prevents a certain modification? That has been used less so, but also in Gross Fabric Hacks, allowing you to reapply mixins after they've already been applied. It allows you to add custom ASN changes before and after mixin applications more universally. Words are hard. And how would you do any of these kinds of things? In general, you probably shouldn't do them. And in some scenarios, you might have to. So what can we do with all of this? There are lots of bad ideas, as I just showed, but is there a better way? Is there some way that we could go about doing this without needing all of those checks, all of those replacements of mod loader internals, all those kinds of things? So one such option that we have coming is Chasm. Short for Collision Handling ASM. It is a library that a few people are doing great at creating for the modding scene in general. They did a talk at Blanketcon 2022 on how Chasm works under the hood. For the most part, it is still correct, as it's more on the theoretical side and less on the implementation. And it is a very low-level kind of manipulation that allows you to change things, with the requirement being that it's not actually going to check to make sure that whatever you're changing is legal. Chasm, a tiny little portion of the previous talk, states that it's up to the JVM verifier to make sure that all the bytecode is legal, and it's up to the Chasm creators to ensure that that behavior is kept. And as I may have just said, the Chasm creator, or the people creating the Chasm files and the transformations, it's a very low level thing. It's essentially extensible, and it is actually Turing complete if you're interested in that. But it allows you to do just about any kind of transformation with the ability to add dependencies and such throughout the entire thing. Another option that we have that is less on the far term is Mix and Extras, created by LlamaLad7. No clue if they're here currently, but if they were, that'd be really cool. LlamaLad7 has created this tool to allow more options when creating mixins. Like, it allows you to, within a method, depend on very specific local variables, or possibly add some custom state in there in order to persist through multiple injections. It's available right now. You can use it. I have a link there. It's a bit harder to remember, but it is there and it is available for anyone to use. So, in a general conclusion here, we have Unsafe, we have Reflection, we have ASM. All of them are not particularly good for a mod developer to use. Now, Chasm, Mixin, and generally open to contribution loaders, which the two largest are, those are
actually
generally
unplayable.
No clue who that added. Chasm, Mixin, and open source and open to contribution loaders are really good for the modder and are suggested for end results. Now, Chasm is still not yet ready. It's a bit sad, but it is in development. You can you can speak out if there's anything that you think might not be the best about how it is right now, anything like that. But Mix and Extras, as I just said, is available right now. You can use it and have much easier time creating more complex mods. So I've got some questions here real quick. A smiley face, because of course we need one of those every so often. But here's one. Can you give an example of a use case where a mod developer might want to use Unsafe and the other options?
Like freezing up like insane.
You might want Unsafe and other internal things in order to access some particular portions of maybe other classes that have particular implementations you want or need. Or like in the case that I had said before, Gross Fabric Hacks, they used it to allow mods to create more diverse kinds of nations. Oh, well, my computer just, I no clue if I cut out or anything. But overall, the Unsafe and ASN things are designed for, are being used in scenarios for creating the ability to transform better and more options. Here's a fun thing that's, or I'll do this one first. why use this instead of access wideners? Access wideners I did not bring up because they do not offer the same kind of ability to transform as others. But access wideners are a great option for most mod developers, with the main caveat being that it takes a little bit more time to set up, both within the development environment and also in the in your Fabric mod JSON or Quilt mod JSON or whatever it is, to get it running at runtime. It also is you also have to have a different format called access transformers if you want to do the same thing on Fabric or on Forge, I mean, which makes it a little bit harder to get the same kind of universal usability. Bad ideas are probably a Mojang moment at times, but generally everyone can end up doing it. How might Quilt loader plugins play into mod loader behavior? This is a great question, and Quilt loader plugins are absolutely going to be doing this. It is it's generally designed for the extensibility that you would need in situations like this. And Quilt loader plugins overall will allow you to continue on and actually get into all of the different things I mentioned before without needing to go through an immense internal breaking dangerous process under the hood. So Quilt loader plugins will probably be used in situations such as getting Forge mods to work on Quilt. That has been in the talks for quite a while, and with
there's actually some work done on that. It's been shown off in the showcase channels.
That is true. I have not looked too much into showcase channels, but yeah, it is there as well. So both loader plugins being used at large as well as Chasm and Forge mods have all undergone some experimentation to get into a hopefully soon future where that is all there. Here's one question that I saved because it's only partially related, but who am I? I am often called Chris online, and I primarily am the guy who runs the Cozy Bot nowadays. With G-Dude being the new key holder, he does less of the community management things. And so I've, in part, just taken over the role of keeping Cozy at least running in the Quilt Discord. I am also, as I had said at the beginning, part of Duvet. We are just a small team of people who want to see Quilt being used in mods across all versions. And I've worked in the Duvet environment in part to work on getting Risugami mod loader mods to load under Quilt, which would be really neat if I could actually get it to work consistently. But there's always some small bugs that I've found. Here's a good question. Does ASM allow dynamic runtime transformations? In part, it sort of does, but the main problem with that is that you have to ensure that that the conditions or whatever you're trying to do are checked before the class is loaded. Unless you have something like instrumentation along with a DCE VM, a special version of the JVM, which allows more general class transformations. We then have, if ASM and Mixin attempt to change the same thing, which takes priority, whichever comes first. ASM is not really built into the loader environment. And so if a class does anything with modifying ASM, they either are doing it in a mixin plugin, in which case it'll either happen on the before load or after load, depending on where the developer puts it, or it will happen completely separate of mixin in some external implementation. Like Gross Fabric Hacks also has the same before and after mixin transformation times that you are able to set when the ASM modification applies relative to mixin modifications. Here is a very long one that isn't actually a question, but fun knowledge. Steam and Rails from Create extension mod used to use Unsafe to implement dynamic trap models. That does sound like a good use case, but as they say, they found a better trick, and it's always a good idea to get away from ASM and things if it's, or ASM, Unsafe, reflection, those things, if it's possible, because it's hard to get through. This one, yes, you can come up, I would presume, up to the Blanketcon people to decide that, though the next session isn't until, I believe, more than an hour away, so we would have some time before that.
It probably wouldn't be on the stage itself, but in the seating area you can info dump probably.
I do believe that is all the questions we have currently, so if anyone else has a question, now would be the time to submit it to the queue. We have 20 minutes officially before it is time for this keynote, or before we run out of time on this keynote, so questions are welcome, whatever you feel you would want to do. Apparently that's throwing tomatoes at me.
If now works is a good time, it would probably be a good time for me to just go in now and until either a question comes in or you have to.
In the back, you can get TBH blocks, which you can use TFE.
Can everyone hear me presently, or should I go somewhere more central? Okay, good. Yeah, so, hold on, I need to pick up my Steam Deck so I can pace a bit to help myself focus. Still haven't taken my meds, but, yeah. Duvet's an interesting project. Vix here wanted to run a Minecraft server going from... going from beta 1.001 all the way, trying to get until the latest Minecraft version we could, just continually updating. Literally not even 6 hours into that server, we as anyone who knows us would expect, already had the idea of trying to run Quilt on it. That night, there was literally already a Quilt Loader PR that with a patch to fix a small issue that was preventing Quilt from running on that, and by the next day, we literally already were going. We used Enigma for a janky setup to try mapping the game and stuff. And yeah, Duvet's an interesting project. We're trying to, as Chris said, we're trying to, we are trying to, just try modding the game. Our ultimate goal is to have a singular modding toolchain that just have a singular modding setup that will allow you to write a mod, and so long as all of the things that it needs. By the way, I'm not actually reading the chat, I'm just pacing with my Steam Deck. off to the side. So if anyone needs me, make actual noise in the game and I'll hear. But yeah, we just our true ultimate goal is to be able to eventually be able to write a mod, run a command, and depending on what your mod does, be able to have a singular jar file that should be able to work universally. Period. It is a far-off goal that we are probably not gonna do, that we are probably not gonna get towards, but it is a far-off goal that makes us go.
They've made the project